will be replicated once again. Surely it's time to make sure they are not replicated and that we correct these inequalities now, that we take away those stereotypes that young girls, young women still face with the lower numbers in STEM at present. If we are to foster the Marie Curies, the Ade Lovelaces, the Margaret Hamiltons, the Samantha Cristoforettis and Shirin Ebadis of tomorrow, we must work to close the digital gender divide, both in Europe and across the world today. It is about dealing with all of those inequalities we speak about here endlessly. Whether we are talking about representation, only 26.6% of women in parliaments worldwide, the extraordinary violence destroying women's life, all of these inequalities need to be dealt with now if we are to face the future with confidence.
Thank you.
Let us make sure we are supporting and empowering those who will build our world of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fitzgerald. And now I invite, on behalf of the S&D Group, its President, Irache García Pérez, to take the floor.
Gracias, Presidenta. La verdad es que es para todas nosotras y nosotros un honor contar hoy con la presencia de dos mujeres que son referentes en sus respectivos ámbitos. Necesitamos mujeres que inspiren a nuevas generaciones de niñas y adolescentes que vean reflejadas sus posibilidades en los logros de mujeres como Shirin Ebadi, la primera mujer de religión islámica en conseguir un premio Nobel de la Paz. La señora Ebadi fue la primera mujer iraní en acceder a la presidencia de un tribunal en 1975 y tras muchos problemas y trabas que se le pusieron, nunca se ha rendido y ha seguido luchando. Consiguió ejercer como abogada y se centró en defender a los más débiles, los presos políticos y en especial mujeres y niños. Mujeres como Samantha Cristoforetti, que es la tercera mujer astronauta europea en llegar al espacio y la segunda mujer del mundo con más días en el espacio. Ha habido muy pocas mujeres astronautas, pero con el ejemplo de la señora Cristoforetti, muchas niñas se darán cuenta que es posible abrirse camino en un mundo de hombres y romper el techo de cristal. Pero hoy me van a permitir que termine con un homenaje a las millones de mujeres anónimas que han hecho historia. A las madres que después de largas jornadas de trabajo vuelven a sus casas y se ponen a hacer los deberes con sus hijos y atender las tareas domésticas. A las mujeres del medio rural que se levantan todas las mañanas a atender a la ganadería, trabajar horas y horas y nunca ser reconocidas. A las mujeres que han sido víctimas de violencia de género, muchas de ellas perdiendo su vida y otras teniendo que rehacerla. Y a las mujeres que escapan de la guerra, del hambre y de las injusticias, las mujeres refugiadas. He tenido la oportunidad de estar la pasada semana en Grecia en un centro de mujeres refugiadas, valientes, con mucho sufrimiento, pero también valientes y decididas a seguir trabajando por un mejor futuro. Somos afortunadas las mujeres europeas de vivir en un espacio donde tenemos reconocidos nuestros derechos a pesar de tener que seguir trabajando y luchando por no dar marcha atrás. Pero no olvidemos a todas aquellas que están fuera de Europa y que siguen necesitando nuestra solidaridad y nuestro apoyo. Muchas gracias.
Next, on behalf of the Renew Group, I give the floor to María Soraya Rodríguez Ramos.
Gracias, Presidenta. Decía Simone de Beauvoir que bastaba una crisis política, económica o religiosa para que los derechos de las mujeres volviesen a ser cuestionados y que estos no podían darse por adquiridos nunca. Desgraciadamente, tenía razón. Hoy nos damos cuenta en tantos sitios. En Irán, Afganistán, Estados Unidos y aquí, dentro de nuestras fronteras, en Polonia, donde ayer una mujer activista fue condenada precisamente por ayudar a otras a ejercer su derecho al aborto. Es un honor contar con personas como Shirin Ebadi, que hoy nos hace recordar de nuevo en esta Cámara el grito de mujer, vida y libertad. el grito que gritan millones de mujeres ante un régimen que ha asesinado a miles de mujeres, ha envenenado a 7.000 estudiantes y que es el primer país en el mundo en la ejecución de mujeres. Hay que recordar a las mujeres afganas que viven en un verdadero apartheid de género. Tenemos que hacer mucho por ellas, sobre todo no reconocer a los regímenes criminales que las oprimen. También es un honor poder estar con mujeres como Samantha, porque la educación es el motor más potente para la igualdad. En un sector donde el 90% de los astronautas son hombres, ella cambia la narrativa de los estereotipos, de los sesgos de género y lanza un mensaje a las niñas. Pueden ser todo lo que quieran, pueden cumplir todos sus sueños. Pero también es un recordatorio para nosotros, para saber que tenemos que seguir trabajando todos los días para que todas las mujeres tengan acceso a todos los derechos. No se puede pedir menos a una democracia porque las mujeres no pueden esperar menos. Por eso, seguir trabajando en la directiva contra la violencia de género, que llega tarde cuando 50 mujeres son asesinadas, víctimas de violencia en la Unión Europea. La igualdad salarial, la igualdad de representación. Hoy es un día para recordarnos que ningún derecho por la igualdad puede darse por adquirido. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. I give the floor now to the co-president of the Green Group, Terry Reintke, for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Dear colleagues, today we are celebrating women. We are celebrating women in the fight for their rights. We are celebrating women in their fight against patriarchy. But let me say this, women are for long already not only carrying the fight for women's rights, they are carrying across the globe the fight for democracy and freedom, values that the European Union is founded on. If we look at Iran, if we look at Afghanistan, if we look at Argentina, they're brave women who are fighting for what we hold dear, and they are a source of inspiration to all of us. And one of the women that we should be celebrating today and for International Women's Day is Justyna Wojcicka. Not only because she has shown bravery and commitment, but because she has helped others. She has helped people in need. She supported women who needed access to abortion in a country like Poland, where the right and the access to abortion has been heavily restricted over the past years. And this form of compassion and solidarity is what makes our society strong. She has stood up for our values and very concretely provided support. But instead of celebrating her, she's being criminalized. She was convicted to 8 months of community service yesterday for caring for others, for defending our rights. Colleagues, we cannot stay silent on this. Full solidarity to Justyna and all the women in Poland and elsewhere in the world who are standing up for their rights, who are standing up for care and solidarity. I do not want to live in a Europe where women who are helping other women are being criminalized. So let us take this day and let us take action together. Let us put the right to abortion into the EU Charter on Fundamental Rights. Women in Europe deserve it. Let us be a beacon of hope and inspiration for all women across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reintke. I give the floor now on behalf of the ECR group to Asita Kanko.
Thank you, Madam President. Dear colleagues, I'm very grateful to be a woman. I must have done something nice and great in a past life. That's what Dr. Maya Angelou said, and I totally agree with her. Especially being a Western woman is really good. I can say that because I know what other kind of lives are. We all know what is happening in Iran. We all know what is happening in so many countries where women and girls are blocked, are mistreated and prevented, barred from school, prevented from achieving their full potential. In Kenya, for example, girls have to give their body, they have to have sex in exchange of clean water. When you think of these girls and you know that they have to fetch water every day for their families, doesn't it make you shiver? Yes, we have a good life in Europe. We have a better life here, but is it good enough? Like most of you, I am mostly satisfied. But sometimes we are confronted with fact and we wonder, is this real? Yesterday, I went to buy a jogging trouser because I thought I have to lose 10 pounds so that I don't need to buy new dresses. But the salespeople could offer some pepper spray. How can you need that to go outside in Europe to enjoy fresh air? Another example, I have a teenage daughter. She cries and lays down on the ground because of menstruation pain. We were able to go to the moon. Why didn't we solve such a problem with science? And she says, God must be sexist. Why do I have menstruation and boys don't? Well, how do you answer that as a mother when all you have to give is a hug? We have science. God has nothing to do with this. We have the power to change the life of women so that they can go out in the street to run without needing pepper spray, so that they can enjoy education without exchanging their body for sex. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Canco. And now, on behalf of the ID Group, I give the floor to Isabella Tovalieri.
In questo dibattito dedicato alle donne e saluto le due ospiti che sono un esempio tangibile di successo, coraggio ed empowerment femminile, ho deciso però di richiamare l'attenzione su un tema importante, il tema dei disturbi alimentari, un fenomeno drammatico e soprattutto in preoccupante aumento che riguarda prevalentemente l'universo femminile e del quale ancora non si parla abbastanza. Proprio oggi in Italia si celebra la giornata per la prevenzione e la cura di questi disturbi, dall'anoressia alla bulimia, che colpiscono le donne nel 90% dei casi, con un esordio, ahimè, sempre più precoce. I cambiamenti marcati del corpo e dell'adolescenza, uniti all'azione sempre più pervasiva e incontrollata dei social media che propongono modelli di magrezza e di successo sempre più estremi, possono disorientare le nostre ragazze più fragili. Quella di oggi è dunque una ricorrenza istituita non per iniziativa di una donna, bensì di un uomo, a dimostrazione che questo è un tema che riguarda tutti, genitori, educatori, medici, psicologi, associazioni, ma anche mondo della politica e delle istituzioni. Quest'uomo coraggioso è Stefano Tavilla, padre di Giulia affetta da bulimia nervosa e strappata alla vita proprio a 17 anni il 15 marzo del 2011. Da quel giorno questo padre insieme a 60 associazioni porta questo fiocchetto lilla in tutta Italia, non solo per fare opera di informazione, ma anche per combattere i pregiudizi, chiedere cure accessibili, creare una rete di supporto a tutte quelle persone e famiglie che condividono questo dramma. E noi siamo al suo fianco idealmente e concretamente. Per questo oggi sollecitiamo quest'Aula a che mantenga alta la guardia su questo fenomeno e in previsione della giornata internazionale contro i disturbi alimentari che cadrà il prossimo 2 giugno, chiediamo che sia organizzata una settimana di iniziative su questo tema, perché quello che è successo a Giulia e accade oggi mentre vi sto parlando ora a moltissime ragazze in Europa non accada più. Grazie.
I give the floor now to the co-president of the Left Group, Manon Aubry.
Quand arrêterez-vous de nous considérer, nous, les femmes, comme les variables d'ajustement de vos politiques? Les femmes assurent les métiers sous-payés et sous-considérés. Les femmes de ménage, les aides-soignantes, les caissières, les aides à domicile, les assistantes maternelles, les secrétaires. Les femmes pâtissent déjà les temps partiels subis et des carrières hachées. Mais c'est à elles qu'on demande encore et toujours plus d'efforts. Le débat sur la réforme des retraites en France montre à quel point nous ne sommes que des variables d'ajustement. D'un côté, on a Emmanuel Macron qui veut faire 60% des économies sur le dos des femmes, malgré des niveaux de pension déjà 40% inférieurs. De l'autre côté, on a l'extrême droite qui nous considère, nous les femmes, comme des machines à faire des enfants. Alors je vous le dis à vous, l'extrême droite, laissez nos utérus tranquilles. Serions-nous tellement devenus des variables d'ajustement que nos droits fondamentaux ne comptent plus? Je fais partie de cette génération qui a cru que l'avortement était un acquis. Mais Simone de Beauvoir avait raison de nous avertir. Il suffira d'une crise pour que les droits des femmes soit remise en cause, disait-elle. Je sais aujourd'hui que l'IVG doit être ardemment défendue et protégée partout dans nos constitutions. Hier, une activiste polonaise a été condamnée à 10 mois de travaux d'intérêt généraux pour avoir aidé une femme à avorter en Europe en 2023. Dans ce pays, mais aussi en Hongrie, en Malte et bientôt en Italie, le droit de l'IVG est gravement entravé, voire supprimé. Pendant ce temps, toutes les 9 minutes, une femme meurt des suites d'un avortement clandestin dans le monde. Alors, je voudrais demander aux députés de l'extrême droite de cet hémicycle qui n'ont de cesse de combattre l'avortement. Combien de femmes supplémentaires allez-vous laisser mourir en utilisant cela enceinte? Entendez-le une fois pour toutes. Nous ne sommes pas des variables d'ajustement. Nos corps ne sont pas à vous. Ils nous appartiennent. Nous n'avons pas peur de vous et nous nous battons sans relâche pour nos droits jusqu'à l'égalité. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. I will now welcome our guests. Dr. Shirin Ebadi, Commander Samantha Cristoforetti, President Michel, President von der Leyen, Commissioners, Madam Ombudswoman, dear members, thank you for being with us here in the House of European Democracy. Before we hear the speeches of today, I would like to invite all of you to turn your attention to the screens to watch a short video in celebration of International Women's Day. It is not just about empowerment. It is about opportunity. Opportunity that is not presented to women because they are women, but rather in spite of the fact that they are women.
They can be who they want to be, the exact kind of leader they want to be. This is my hope for the next generation of women.
What's truly amazing is to be up here in space and be able to serve first and foremost as a crew member of the International Space Station. It was my dream since I was a small child to one day be able to fly to space.
اینها کافی نیست و زنان ایران تا رسیدن به تساوی کامل حقوق زن و مرد دست از مبارزه بر نخواهند داشت.
Die gleichberechtigte Beteiligung von Frauen macht unsere Demokratien stärker. Nicht, weil Frauen besser sind. Für ein vollständiges Bild von der Welt brauchen wir Männer und Frauen.
Many girls cannot go to school. They are neglected. But still, there is hope.
Have confidence in yourself. Trust yourself. Don't let yourself be intimidated. You have what it takes.
Тому що саме жіноча енергія, любов – це те, що рухає суспільство, те, що ставить його знову на ноги, те, що може знову дати життя. Я дуже пишаюся нашими жінками.
That a woman's place is truly where she wants to be. Be that standing up in Parliament, heading a law firm, presiding a courtroom, or leading a nation to prosperity. Dear colleagues, International Women's Day is marked in our annual calendar not only to recognise the achievements of women and girls across the world, but also as a call to action, a rallying point to strengthen gender equality across all spheres of our society. I'm so proud to be here as the third woman president of this institution, and I'm so grateful for those who came before me, who made the path easier for my generation, for all of us. I am here, we are here, because of the battles that they fought for us. We stand on their shoulders, and we reiterate our promise to make it easier for those who come after us. Women have changed the world, and we don't say this enough. We have with us today Commander Samantha Cristoforetti, the first European woman Samantha is the first European woman to command the International Space Station. Thank you, Samantha, for showing every young girl in Europe that they can reach for the stars. You beat the odds and you thrived. Your hard work and determination are an example to us all. On International Women's Day, it is important to recognise the achievements of women and girls around the world and beyond, as a source of empowerment and inspiration for every young girl. And yet, even as we've heard in the speeches we've just seen, the reality is that progress towards true equality remains painfully slow, and that can no longer be an acceptable benchmark. So today I want to honour all those women who are fighting for their freedom and inclusion, women who are killed, beaten and abused all over the world just for being women. All those women still fighting for their rights. All those women who have to face higher standards and have to prove every day that they are capable of doing the job. All the women facing new digital hurdles online. All those mothers, daughters, sisters who face obstacles every day that we do not talk about. All those women who face all this and yet remain unbowed and unbroken. Ukrainian women fighting against an illegal Russian invasion, who, to quote the first woman president of the European Commission, smashed a glass ceiling over the head of the Russian invaders. The Chibok girls kidnapped 9 years ago by Boko Haram in Nigeria, many of whom remain in captivity. They have not been forgotten, and our commitment to bring back our girls remains. Is with us today. A Nobel Prize laureate and one of Iran's first female judges, Dr. Abadi, we appreciate the immense effort that you have made to be with us today. You embody the fight of Iranian women, the fight for what is fair and for what is right. Your presence is a reminder that the fight will not cease and that freedom requires courage and sacrifice. It is also a warning to those who hope it might. Women will not go silently into the night. They will not give up, and the European Parliament will continue to stand with the women of Iran. Dear colleagues, my hope is for International Women's Day to be seen as an invitation for societies to do better. Even within our union, gender equality will remain unfinished business for as long as we have not achieved equal pay for equal work. Today still, every second woman around us has experienced sexual harassment. The time is now for the European Union to lead by example, to set standards in criminalising violence against women, to improve access to justice, and to ratify the Istanbul Convention before the end of this term. When women are free, when rights are respected, when education is recognised, when pay is equal, when women are protected, when opportunities are fair and where playing fields are level, when we realise that when we are all equal, then we all benefit, that is when we can say that we have achieved the milestones our generation has inherited. That is when we can say we have left this place, this union, better than we found it, and we will keep working every day to see that happen. I now pass the floor to the President of the European Commission, Ms. Ursula von der Leyen, to take the floor.
Thank you very much, President Metsola, dear Roberta, Dr. Ebadi, Captain Cristoforetti, honourable members. What an honour to be here with you today among women who have blazed the trail for so many other women. Dr. Ebadi, for decades you have fought for women's rights in Iran. They tried to silence you. They put you in jail. They forced you into exile. But you kept fighting with bravery, day in, day out. You are amazing, and we thank you for your leadership. It is outstanding what you've done. Today, countless women have joined in your fight, and the whole world stands in awe of the women of Iran. More and more women are choosing to defy the prohibitions of a regime that does not see them as equal. They take off their headscarves, and for this they get beaten up, put in jail, even killed. They too are blazing a trail for their sisters, their mothers, their daughters, for all the people of Iran. They're claiming not only the freedom to show their hair or to cover it, but also the freedom from fear, from violence, freedom to study, to work, to love without asking anybody's permission, as it should be. It's women, life, liberty. That's what you stand for. The fight and the courage of Iranian women move and inspire women all across the world. Because the challenges we face may be different, but the rights we strive for are the same. First and foremost, the most basic of all rights, the right to be free from violence. This is still a global curse, including here in Europe. And how can you be equal if you're constantly under threat? There's massive work to do to change everyone's mindset, to ensure that it's never justified to beat a woman, that it's never justified to mutilate a girl's body, that no always means no. And this is why we're pushing hard to ensure equal protection to all women in all European countries. And I know, honourable members, you share my aspiration. So let us join forces. Let us bring to life the first ever EU law on combating violence against women and domestic violence. It's time to deliver. honorable members and distinguished guests, gender equality does not just happen, even in countries where there is no morality police. Progress is hard-won, easily lost. It requires day-to-day attention and commitment to ensure that women and girls are free from violence, that women as well as men can have both a family and a career, that women earn the same as their male colleague because they deserve it, that women do reach the very top levels because they are qualified. We have a duty to set an example to society and the economy of what a world of fair chances looks like. And this duty counts every day, not just on International Women's Day. Beyond laws, women and girls also need role models, women who blaze a trail for everyone else. And that's why I'm so glad to meet you, Captain Cristoforetti. You once said, and I quote, "As a child, I didn't dream to be the first Italian woman astronaut. I just dreamt to be an astronaut." You just wanted to follow your dreams. And with passion and hard work, you made it. And now girls look up to you as a role model. Thanks to you, they know that they too can aim high. And just like you, they can reach for the stars. Captain Cristoforetti, Dr. Ebadi, your examples inspire us. You strive for a world where young girls and boys can be whatever they want to be in life, where there are no jobs that are simply for men or simply for women, where they're not even the sky is a limit. This is our goal. And again, not because women are better, but because we are different. And also very simply, because it is right. This is time for a world of equal rights and fair chances, not just for women, but for all of us. Long live Europe. Thank you very much, President von der Leyen. I now pass the floor to Ms. Samantha Cristoforetti.
Dear Madam President Metsola, dear President Michel, President von der Leyen, dear Dr. Ebadi, dear members of the European Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an immense honor for me to be here today. I'm very grateful for the invitation to participate in the Parliament celebration of International Women's Day, and I'm truly humbled by the opportunity of speaking here today at the center of our European democracy and decision-making. And I am humbled by the opportunity of taking the floor just before Dr. Ebadi, a woman who has been a true champion of women's rights in the face of brutal discrimination and who has suffered terrible personal consequences for her willingness to fight. And for that, I thank you, Dr. Ebadi. As an astronaut of ESA, the European Space Agency, I would like to take this opportunity to talk to you about what I know best, which is the European space activities, the role of ESA, and the synergies with the European Union. Space is out there, but it's also here among us every day. It's an essential element of everyday life. We take it for granted. Sometimes we even don't notice it. And yet space is woven into the fabric of every modern society. It is well known that we rely on space assets to provide important services like Earth observation, communication, navigation, services that we need, for example, for environmental monitoring, to mitigate the consequences of climate change, for weather forecast, disaster response, internet access, TV broadcasting, even smart traffic. Space assets are even crucial for energy provision or financial transactions and many other vital economic functions. And ESA works constantly to ensure that these essential services are secured and that all relevant assets are managed efficiently and remain available to support the policies that you, the political decision makers, set for us, for the benefits of European citizens, be it about climate change, the green transition, the digital transformation, sustainable development, or inclusiveness. And let us not forget security. I think that the green political context that we are facing these days has highlighted the importance of security-related space activities. And as you know, last Friday, the Commission and the High Representative presented for the first time a joint communication on a European strategy for security and defense, a European space strategy for security and defense. And the European Parliament will play a crucial role, and ESA will provide its contribution. But space is also a powerful engine of prosperity and economic growth. Today, the global space market is already worth about $340 billion US. And by the late 2030s, by some estimates, space could generate a revenue of $1 trillion US. And such tremendous growth potential can be in part ascribed to a profound transformation of our industry, often referred to as the new space revolution. New players are getting involved, often from outside of the traditional space sector. Old and new companies pursue profit and growth through novel business models. Risk sharing with public institutions through public-private partnerships, and early financing through venture capital. The reduction in the cost of access to space, brought about, for example, by the reusability of launchers, has made mega constellations a reality. The miniaturization of electronics has made satellite platforms smaller and cheaper, and yet more capable and versatile. Let me add, however, in all honesty, that many of these new space developments are far more advanced in North America than they are here in Europe. Still, the opportunities are there for Europe to take if we choose to be ambitious in our goals and pursuits. ESA's member states have already raised the level of ambition. Our ministerial meeting last November in Paris secured a record budget of 16.9 billion euros for the coming 3 years. That is a 17% increase with respect to the preceding ministerial back in 2019. A clear sign that our member states understand space as a strategic component of our industrial and technological sovereignty. ESA brings world-class expertise, unique know-how in the area of space, science, technology, and applications, along with its rich experience in space project management. But an ambitious European approach needs partnerships with national institutions, academia, industry, and with the European Union. ESA and the European Union each bring their specific mandates, competencies, and strengths to the table. ESA's Agenda 2025, which was published on the very first day in office of ESA's Director General, Josef Aschbacher, lists a renewed and enforced partnership between ESA and the EU as a top priority. ESA and the EU have embarked on major common success stories. Copernicus, the world's largest and most successful Earth observation program, providing decision makers, researchers, entrepreneurs, and the public with information on the state of our planet. Galileo, Europe's own global navigation satellite system, providing a highly accurate, guaranteed global positioning service under civilian control, featuring the world's most accurate navigation system. And the new Secure Connectivity IRIS² program, which will provide a new, sovereign and secure space-based communication infrastructure in Europe to improve strategic autonomy, digital resilience, security, technological non-dependence, and commercial competitiveness. Many in the European Parliament may not know, but ESA was at the origin of both flagship programs, Copernicus and Galileo. And ESA is grateful that the EU and the European Parliament stepped up to the challenge and enabled what have become two of the world's most successful space programs. We can all be proud of these achievements, and ESA is particularly grateful to implement these programs together with the EU. At ESA, we have a full agenda this year. Among other things, we are tackling the critical European launcher situation, with the top priority of restoring independent access to space for Europe. In Copernicus, we're preparing the next generation Sentinel satellites, and we do need to close a funding gap of 721 million euros. The European Parliament's support will be crucial to achieve this. We will also launch two exciting new science missions, JUICE to explore the icy moons of Jupiter in April, and Euclid, with which we will better understand dark matter and dark energy in July. Ladies and gentlemen, Europe has a rich history of space achievements, including what is possibly dearest to me in human spaceflight. Through our partnership in the International Space Station, we have secured opportunities for Europeans to fly to space and for European scientists to do research in microgravity. We are a strong partner in the NASA-led Artemis program of lunar exploration, providing the European service module for the Orion spacecraft and a significant portion of Gateway, a space station that will fly in lunar orbit. Together with NASA, we intend to retrieve and bring back to Earth samples of Martian soil. As a member of the European Astronaut Corps, I myself had twice the privilege of representing Europe in space. Madam President, when we spoke for the first time last September, I was serving as commander of the International Space Station, the first European woman to do so, but certainly not the last. At ESA, just last year, we selected a new class of career and reserve astronauts, and over half of them are women. And let me add that we selected these new colleagues of mine out of over 23,000 applicants throughout Europe. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of space to inspire, to spark passions in our youngsters around Europe. As an astronaut, I have witnessed that many times, how space can spark passions and dreams. Those passions and dreams that make our youngsters choose studies, education, and careers in science and technology, so that they acquire those competencies that are so strategically important for Europe, for our research, for our industrial competitiveness, for our entrepreneurship. I have seen how the ability of sending human into space acts as a confidence builder in a society. It builds the confidence that a nation or a community of nations like ours can tackle the really difficult, ambitious challenges. If we can send human into space, there's nothing we cannot do, right? Let us have that ambition in Europe. I have flown to space twice, once on a Russian Soyuz and once on an American Dragon. Twice I have fulfilled my dream of flying to space. And if I can allow myself at this point in my life one more dream, that dream is that of seeing one day astronauts flying on a European vehicle. Flying our astronauts to space on our own vehicle, welcoming astronauts from other parts of the world on our own European space vehicle. It will be a mighty political, strategic, cultural, psychological, even philosophical symbol. It will be an expression of Europe's ambition to gain a position in space that matches Europe's political and economic weight. It will allow us to continue to cooperate in international partnerships, but do that on a more equal level. It will allow us to not miss out on the enormous strategic and economic opportunities that space offers. And it will allow us to develop and retain in Europe vital STEM talent, and to develop the capabilities, but also the mindset that is needed to solve the many big challenges that we are facing for the benefits of the citizens in Europe and all over the world. Let me conclude by recognizing the important role that the European Parliament and the ITRE Committee in particular has played and continues to play in its consistent support of space activities. You have been a competent and reliable partner for ESA in all of our discussions and negotiations, as well as in the preparation of the legislative basis for our common space projects, Galileo, Copernicus, and now IRIS². And it is therefore an incredible honor to be able to hand over today the European flag that flew with me on the International Space Station.
Thank you so much, dear Ms. Cristoforetti. I now pass the floor to Dr. Shirin Ebadi.
بسیار افتخار میکنم که در چنین روزی با شما صحبت میکنم و عالی جنابان
Ladies and gentlemen,
ریاست
the honorable
عالی جنابان
Your Excellencies,
ریاست محترم پارلمان اروپا
the Honorable President of the European Union,
اتحادیه اروپا نمایندگان محترم
European Parliament, the Honorable MEPs and dear guests,
و خانم ها و آقایان
and ladies and gentlemen,
افتخار میکنم که در
چنین روزی
در این مکان
among you on such a day and once again addressing
اروپا صحبت میکنم.
You members of European Parliament. I would like to thank you for having given me this opportunity. It's an honor for me and it is as a result of the fight and protests by
my people in Iran. It was the Iranian women who started a revolution, as a result of which the voices of the Iranian people have been heard throughout the world, including yourselves. And which has guided me to this chair today from where I'm speaking to you. As you're all aware, the revolution in Iran was sparked by the killing of a young girl who was arrested on the street by the morality police only because a part of her hair was visible from under her scarf, and she was killed. And the family of this girl filed a complaint, but to no avail. However, the lawyer who was representing the family of this young girl has been prosecuted and has currently been released on bail. Moreover, two young reporters who had published a photograph of this young girl while she was lying on a hospital bed and had filed a report on the funeral of this young girl in the domestic media in Iran. These two journalists were both arrested on the charge of espionage. And to date, they are still in prison. I am talking about a country where its government kills with impunity. While the profession of journalism and the legal profession is deemed a crime. And of course, you representatives of Europe, I am sure you are well aware of the conduct of the Islamic Republic. And you know that how many of your nationals are currently being held hostage in our prisons. And unfortunately, so far, at least two of them have been sentenced to death penalty. Why? Because the government in Iran, by taking your national, you European nationals hostage, wants to achieve its political objectives. In that country, what is not important is justice, because our courts are not independent and they follow the security forces in Iran. And they only implement the ambitious policies of the regime. And lack of independence of courts is one of the most important issues in Iran. In my country, Iran, in the past 43 years, a large number of people have lost their lives for opposing such a government. Now the regime never publishes any statistics, and we only find out after verification from the families of these victims and how many have been killed. In this revolution, which was sparked by this young girl called Mahsa, which started in September 2022, to date, over 550 individuals have been killed. And at least 70 of them were juveniles under the age of 18. Moreover, at least 20,000 protesters have been arrested. Recently, in this very month, the Iranian government, in a bid to deceive public opinion, they announced that they have pardoned some of these prisoners. Of course, yes. Some were pardoned and released. However, what is so tragic is that the same number of people that released, they went on and arrested exactly the same number again. And even more importantly, the protesters who were very influential in these recent protests remain behind bars. Freedom of expression in Iran is so restricted that only since September 2022, 18 lawyers have been arrested merely for defending these protesters. They're being prosecuted at the moment. Some of them remain in prison. And I would like to name one of them, who is a colleague of mine, who has been a colleague of mine, and at the moment he is on hunger strike. His name is Mohammad Najafi. The rest have been freed on bail. And this stems from the lack of independence of the judiciary in Iran. In this very week, they announced that 35 artists, filmmakers, actors and actresses, only because they had supported the people and supported the protests, have had their assets and bank accounts, have had their assets confiscated, their bank accounts frozen. Dozens of journalists, bloggers, writers are currently in prison. Why? Because freedom of expression in Iran is extremely limited. The people's efforts in the past years in order to change and reform the status quo has been in vain. And at the moment, the people continue to stage their protests, which
started in September 2022, and the people's demand is that the regime be changed because they know that unfortunately this regime cannot be reformed. The constitution of our country has to change. With this current constitution, no reform is possible. And for this very reason, the Iranian people want regime change. And their slogan is woman, life, freedom. And this slogan, you can look at this slogan from two perspectives. You can look at this slogan from two perspectives. The first is that it rejects despotic theocracy in Iran. We do not want a theocracy in Iran. Because such a government does not bring the people welfare or freedom. They have even invaded the privacy of people in their own homes. And the positive aspect of this slogan is that we want a democratic government in which religion is separate from state. Because after 43 years of experiencing the Islamic Republic has shown us and the Muslims in the region that if a government is mixed with ideology or religion, how dangerous it will become. And this is an experience, and I hope that the other Islamic countries in the region will learn from us. Now, European countries can rest assured you, European states, can rest assured that if democracy is established in Iran, there will be fewer refugees entering your countries. Currently, one of the main problems of the Iranian people is immigration. We are suffering from brain drain. There is no employment in Iran. Even those who manage to find jobs, earning is so low that they cannot eke out a living. Only yesterday, the chancellor of one of the most important universities in Iran announced that only in 1 year, 70 professors have fled the country and emigrated. Now, if we have democracy in Iran, the people will no longer need to emigrate or seek asylum elsewhere. Therefore, please support the establishment of democracy in Iran. Because not only that would reduce the number of refugees in Europe, but we will also be able to build our country. Democracy in Iran will be not only to our benefit, but will also bring about peace and calm in the region. because we, the Iranian people, oppose the regime's intervention in other countries. We are against the ambitious policies of the Iranian regime. We oppose Iran's nuclear program. They have spent so much money on this and to no avail. Nuclear bomb will not solve Iran's problem. Our problem will only be solved through democracy. Democracy, I repeat, is not only good for us, but it will also be good for Europe. What I have said is just a small fraction of the problems faced by the Iranian people. I now use this occasion to call on the democratic states throughout the world. Please do not remain indifferent to the violation of human rights in Iran. Please do not ignore what the Iranian people are saying. Please do not sign any commercial and trade contracts with the Iranian government until the human rights situation in that country improves. A few years ago in Iran, they signed the JCPOA nuclear accord. As a result, a great deal of money was sent to Iran, and for 3 years sanctions were lifted against Iran. However, in those 3 years, the situation of the Iranian people did not improve. Why? Because any money received by the Iranian government is either spent on major embezzlements by the Iranian regime, or it will be used in order to assist Lebanon's Hezbollah and paramilitary groups in the region, which has disrupted peace in other countries. You honorable MEPs, have you asked yourself why the Iranian government has not joined FATF? Have you asked yourself why we have not joined the Palermo Convention? The answer to this question is very simple. If the Iranian government joins FATF, it will not be able to continue with its embezzlement. Money laundering will end in Iran. Therefore, until we join these conventions, please, I urge you, do not forge any contracts with Iran, because be sure the money will not be spent on the welfare of the people. There is extreme poverty in Iran.
حکومت ایران همه چیز رو میخواد بیاندازه گردن تحریم.
However, the Iranian government wants to ascribe all these problems to the sanctions. That is not right.
مردم ناشی از
The people's poverty stems from
ناشی از فساد
the major embezzlement, corruption, and the wrong policies of the government.
تاثیرگذاره.
Sanctions are effective.
در اعتراضات اخیر
and in the recent and in conclusion in the recent protests,
دانش آموزان
for the first
دبیرستانی هم
time we saw
به خیابان
high
آمدند.
school children taking to the streets to join the rank of protesters. Why? Because they know that they have no future.
و حکومت برای ترساندن اونها و خانواده ها که جلوی بچه هاشون رو بگیرن
those children and their families. They have been using chemical gases to poison young girls, schoolgirls at their schools. Please write this in your history books. What this regime did to teenage girls, that they're using chemical poisonous gases against women. Initially, the Iranian government denied these reports. They said, "No, they're fake. That's not happening." However, when the number of these girls who were poisoned grew, and the families and the teachers protested, they said, "What is going on? What?" And then they had to accept that this had happened. But as usual, they gave the usual rhetoric that this is the work of our enemies inside and outside the country, and they arrested a few people. But everyone knows what the real culprit, who the real culprits are. They're not the ones that the government has arrested pretending they were responsible. But knowing that this poisoning of the girls is continuing, it shows that those arrested were not the real culprits. I hope that my remarks has helped in a way to convince you honourable MEPs to stand on the right side of history. Please make sure that the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guards, are named as a terrorist group. The IRGC, based on the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I repeat, the IRGC, based on the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Iran, are tasked with protecting the regime. They're separate from the military and the army, which is to protect Iran and the people of Iran. These violent acts are being committed by the IRGC. And once again, I urge you, do not ignore the widespread violation of human rights in Iran. Democracy in Iran, once established, not only will bring calm to Iran, but it will bring peace and calm to the whole region. And without any doubt, the current government in Iran is not any help for the situation in Ukraine either. Thank you very much for having listened to me. Thank you.
Dear colleagues, meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, liebe Freundinnen und Freunde, wir kommen nun zur Abstimmung. Ich beginne mit dem Bericht von Herrn Bernd Lange, Abkommen zwischen der EU und den Vereinigten Staaten über die Änderung der Zugeständnisse für alle in der EU-Liste aufgeführten Zollkontingente. Wir haben eine Abstimmung, diese ist namentlich. Die Abstimmung ist eröffnet. Die Abstimmung ist geschlossen. Angenommen. Wir kommen zum Bericht von Frau Lena Dupont, Informationsaustausch im Bereich der Strafverfolgung. Wir kommen zum Änderungsantrag 138 in namentlicher Abstimmung. Diese ist eröffnet.
Vote is open.
Geschlossen.
Vote is closed.
Die erste Lesung des Parlaments ist hiermit abgeschlossen. Wir kommen zum Bericht die fortgesetzte Repressionen gegen die Bevölkerung von Belarus. Es gibt einen gemeinsamen